You did not click this video to hear about my pet squirrel or how my week has been going. You want to hear about some graphic design hacks that I'm personally using in my workflows right now. The first design hack is all about your design process. It's going to allow you to come up with creative and effective ideas that your clients just will not be able to say no to. And to demonstrate, I'm soon going to reveal this poster design for a drink driving awareness campaign. But let's learn about this process hack first and foremost. Now here I'm using Miller Notes, but you can use any platform, program, or just simply a piece of paper. So when you have a project brief, try and narrow that brief down to a single simple sentence or message. So for a poster that needs to bring the dangers of drink driving to the awareness of people, I've got here the reality of drink driving is deadly serious. This is the first step in this hack, but here's why doing this is so important and so helpful. By doing this, we actually set the tone and the direction of our design in relation to the project brief. If we pick out some keywords and some goals from the brief and then condense it down into a message like this, we're on the way to making a supremely useful and effective graphic design solution. Next, we want to focus on emotion, and so jot down some emotional responses that are going to allow your design to properly get the main message across to the viewer. So here we can see that I've chosen emotions that will help drive the point home to the viewer that drink driving is serious, it's deadly, and it's no joke. I want my design to have a shock factor so the message is clear and it stays in the minds of the viewer. The next phase is where things get stepped up a gear in this process. This is where we think about design techniques that can express the emotional response that we want to get on our design. And here I've just written down 3 to demonstrate. Now I want to have a focal point that is shocking and draws the viewer into my design. I really want to emphasize on a lot of white space to make the message clear and concise, and to perhaps also give a clinical or bleak outlook on my design. This will drive home the message that drink driving is in fact really serious and it can be bleak for the people involved. And then I go into color schemes that will perhaps help my design cause the emotional responses in the viewers that I want to deliver with the message. And lastly, we can add imagery to help build up an overall identity of the design to generate ideas. But me personally, as a designer, I don't really find this stage to be that helpful, but we all think and we all design in different ways, of course. But now the big reveal. As you can see, I have really focused on white space to make the visual communication both striking and clear. The focal point is shocking and suggestive to the message of drink driving, and I've worked in the concept of crossing the line of drinking to then actually driving. Now this is a great hack to put into your design process, but it shouldn't be your entire design process most of the time. Expanding on concepts and generating ideas via this method is really useful. Next, a hack with fonts. Well, actually, it's a 2-part hack. Firstly, I don't actually use font managers these days. All I do is in Adobe, I go ahead and just create a favorites list. From that list, I can narrow down searches for serif, sans serif, and so on. But as you can see here, my favorites list isn't that big. I like to keep it simple and refined down to the choices I know that I need for my workflows day in, day out. And it's really easy to favorite a font. All you have to do is click the start icon and bingo, it's now on that list. The second part of this hack is in Adobe Illustrator. In the character panel, if we actually come up to find more, we can then have access to every single Adobe font that is in existence. And there are literally thousands of them to look through. But if you know a specific font from Adobe and you want to work with it, you just click the button here to activate it and it will be added to your list. Now I think that's pretty cool. The next hack is in Photoshop, and it's me having fun with a new technique. It's a way to blur things on your design work via a menu I've only just found out about this year. But I can't remember where I first heard about it though. But here's exactly how we do it. Now I've got my text and then a different layer below that. Then come over to adjustments and then add a gradient map. Click on the gradient and then go ahead and add more color nodes along with the colors in those nodes that are going to fill up your blur effect. Once that's prepped and ready to rock and roll, select your text layer and then come up to filter, the blur gallery, and then tilt shift. Now this can be tricky and the outcome depends on your gradient map. You must convert the text to a smart object as well. So increase the blur value and then have a play around with the settings on the design itself. Now you can rotate it and increase the blur as you go, and like I said, it might take a while for you to get the hang of it or until you're satisfied. And if you're not quite satisfied with the outlook, you might want to come back and change your gradient map. But yeah, this is a lot of fun, and using the blur gallery has been something new to me and something I've been playing around with. The next hack is a good way to remind yourself or keep up to date with graphic design trends, to actually ogle at eye candy design and get some inspiration. Now here's a Chrome extension called Muesli. Now check this out here. It has over 30,000 users and the rating is a smidgen above 4 stars, which is pretty good. And I've chosen it to be my homepage whenever I click a new tab in Google Chrome, like so. Some people will find this annoying, and it is an option you can turn on or off, so that's pretty cool. Now you can search for specific things, which we're going to do soon, but scrolling down we do have trending, design, tech, etc. But yeah, this thing is really filled with tips, inspiration, downloadable stuff, and it just goes on and on and on. But let's give a quick search for something, maybe branding. And looking over here, there are so many cool examples I just want to dive into and explore. Lots from Dribbble, Behance, and other well-known entities in the graphic design space. This thing really helps me stay up to date with trends, what's going on in the design world, the tech world, and also it keeps those creative juices flowing. And if you want to learn some more useful and interesting graphic design hacks that will allow you to make the designs you really want to, just click the video on screen. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.